SGC here, and we're back with a movie review. The Drop. Before we begin, just my condolences to James Gandolfini's family and friends. It's just, this was his last feature film before he passed away. If you don't know him, he was from the Sopranos TV series, which I have yet to watch. That's supposed to be a classic and major awesomeness. So once again, rest in peace, James. Directed by Michaël R. Roskam. This film is based on Dennis Lehane's 2009 short story Animal Rescue. This cast here is Tom Hardy, Noomi Rapace, and James Gandolfini, and the rest check down below. So what's this about? So basically this film revolves around the concept of drop bars, which is a place where criminals launder money, as in they'll have a stack of money and they'll just drop it at the bar, and there'll be like different people dropping it at the bar, and then the mafia or whatever will come and pick up that money because it's a drop bar. So it sort of changes every time so the cops can't find out. So the main character, Bob Saginowski, is a bartender at this bar, and basically it just talks about how he has to deal with the problems that come to the bar when they get robbed, and the mafia is all like, what the heck, like, you gotta find that money back because that's our money. And then he meets Noomi Rapace, his neighbor, and then there's a lot of baggage behind her character, and then somehow Tom Hardy gets thrown into the mix. And also the bar owner, played by James Gandolfini, also has a little bit of a money problem. So it's all these things happening, and it's just like, how will things turn up? And that's basically the entire film. So what do I think? I really loved Tom Hardy's performance in this, as he played a timid man, but yet as the storyline progressed, you see that he's not what he really seems to be. And it was just great having that loom over you throughout the film, as to he has some past that we don't know what exactly happened, and he's an intense man, so don't mess with him. So that was like the vibe that he carried throughout the entire film, and I really enjoyed that for sure. Also the way that he did his dialogue, and just every time that he was on screen was just very enjoyable. I really loved the chemistry between him and James, who was his bar boss, and just their bantering and just their like talking about business was just really interesting, and I really loved how it was done. The storyline itself is rather simple, as it stems off from a bar robbery, and then it builds bigger, as in like things are just added on, but it doesn't feel forced in terms of just, whoa, that was a big thing happening, now we got this so many problems, like what the hell. But rather it was just like a genuine, realistic, logical sense, as in like, oh, you meet new people, you sort of see that they have problems from the past, and it might seem that the past is catching up to them, sort of thing. And there's also there's more than meets the eye sort of vibe throughout the film, and I really did enjoy that. Basically, it was just a good film in general, because it was simple. So what did I not like? I would say Noomi Rapace and Tom Hardy's relationship in this film is that they met, and it was an awkward first impression, and then they started getting to know each other, and then this thing that happens at the end, you're like, oh, wow. It feels like they could have given more screen time to develop this relationship, as to set up the premise as to like, this is not what it seems to be. And it does play off that. Like, I see why they did it this way, as to like, oh, you expected more than there was actually there. But then I sort of feel that, like, if we saw more of their interactions, it would have built the case even stronger. And also, the whole coincidence that happens near the end of the movie, I just felt that, like, okay, it's a, I guess, logical thing that it would happen. Like, I guess this is what happens when you've been into this business for so long. But it just feels that everything is so coincidental. It's like, oh, that happens, then that leads up to this. And I just felt like, oh, okay. Like, there was no way that I could have figured out from just watching the movie itself without them actually telling me this is connected to that, and that is connected to this sort of thing. And I sort of wish that they made it in the way where, like, you could have thought about some, like, oh, it could have been this. But rather, it was just blah, and telling you, like, right off the bat, like, this is what's gonna happen. So it sort of didn't have that whole mystery, as in, like, how is this movie gonna end? Because you know how it's gonna end. But I give it props for showing me an ending that I didn't expect. But the lead up to that was sort of cliche and predictable for sure. And it was sort of like, oh, that's how they're gonna do this? Oh, okay, I guess. But beyond that, it's okay. Like, it's a forgiving film in terms of, like, everything else was just great, and this sort of, like, this storyline was just okay. I got that. But I mean, the acting, the filming here was just really enjoyable, and definitely check it out. I mean, it is James' last film before he died, and I definitely believe that if you're a Sopranos fan, definitely check out his last film, because it's just, you know, a fan. You should have a thing to do for a fan. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I mean, watch it. It's enjoyable. Tom Hardy does it again. Great job. And if you have seen The Drop, leave me a comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And that is all for this The Drop. Out.